it's my spot today. Me taking my shine away. Right now me standing tall, no falling hand, no door. 'Cause we're here, and the seas breaking from the north. Oh, breaking from the north.
There has been a deterioration, and it is bad leadership. I do hope that God in His mercy will deliver this country from this type of leadership.
Nigeria needs more than power and good rule. Nigerians need to live like human beings.
Nigeria will no longer be looked at as the giant with clay feet. No, we will be looked at as a true giant. We will move with that frame of a giant, and of course do what is right, and of course, be where Nigeria should be, and tell the international community that, look, the giant has woken up.
These are the things that you put together. Now, I told you about the aesthetics. Is that what people will eat? Now, plants are, boreholes were dug for plants, but where people are living, they don't have water. Then, street lights were powered by generators. The places where people are living are in perpetual darkness. Didn't you see all this?
We will require to have a kind of synchronic approach to this fight against corruption. And the impunity that we are talking about, if Mr. President is going to get it and if he's going to make a success about it, he must make sure that everybody, every functionary of government have the same mindset with him.
It's my spot today. Me taking my shine away. Right now me standing tall, no falling hand, no door. 'Cause we're here, and the seas breaking from the north. Oh, breaking from the north.
Welcome to this special program. Once again, this week we are continuing our series on the anti-corruption war by the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. He's been making a lot of moves lately regarding the anti-corruption fight, and he's been doing well at it. He's just inaugurated a committee, an advisory committee on graft. And today, we are very privileged to be with one of the top voices in the anti-corruption war in Nigeria. He is the president of the Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, and of course, he is right live in the studios with us. His name is Mr. Debo Adeniran. We're going to be talking a lot about Nigeria and corruption. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
I'm holding my head up. The lights keep flashing on. I know it's my spot today. Me taking my shine away. Right now me standing tall, no falling hand, no door. 'Cause we're here, and the seas breaking from the north. Oh, breaking from the north.
It's good to have you, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, sir. You are the president of Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. How long have you been doing this, and how effective have you been in your fight against corrupt leaders?
Well, first and foremost, I'm the executive chairman of Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, CACOL. And to answer your question, we started in 2007 after the exit of the first president in this republic, Olusegun Obasanjo. During the reign of Olusegun Obasanjo, we observed that a lot of things were not going the way we thought it would go. When Obasanjo came and set up the ICPC, we thought that we were getting to the Eldorado of fight against corruption. Remember that before the advent of Babangida regime, Naira used to exchange for a maximum of 85 per dollar. There was a time the Naira was even stronger than the dollar and all that. So before then when Babangida came, he came with what we call structural adjustment program. That was a fallout of the general debate whether or not we should obtain loan from IMF. And even then, it wasn't the loan that was the problem, it was the conditionalities. The preponderance of respondents, to the debate said that, look, if we look inwards and we are frugal with the way we manage our own resources, that there was ample opportunity for us to execute our own program and agendas without borrowing from the IMF and World Bank. But the regime of those days was diametrically opposite to the one before it, which was the regime of the present president, then General Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammadu Buhari actually snubbed most of these Bretton Woods institutions and actually told the West that we are no man's moon and that we are going to manage our own resources and survive with it. And if we had continued the way Muhammadu Buhari did it during that military regime, we would have reached, a place we could call a comfort zone even by now. But then his regime was truncated by Babangida. Babangida now democratized corruption, and everywhere you just saw that every minister, every military agent got enormous wealth within a very short period. Now, he was ousted, and since then, he was ousted by the people, not by any other means. Remember, that was the time when SAP became excruciating. All the people, everybody was complaining that there wasn't any sign that the economy was growing. There was no enabling environment for businesses to thrive. There was no opportunity for fresh graduates. As a matter of fact, Babangida closed down the universities for almost 1 year or more than 1 year, and he didn't bat an eye another. So that continued. Then we were not redeemed after he left, because Shonekan was arranged to take over. After Shonekan didn't do much, then Abacha came in. Abacha became draconian, didn't listen to nobody, and continued on and on and on until we find ourselves in the dispensation that Obasanjo headed. Now, Obasanjo came in as if he was a changed person, but we were suspicious of him, that, look, he was sponsored by some characters who put political parties in place, destroy the political structure that were on the ground, destroy the man who won the first election that was organized under Babangida, that was thought to be free and credible, and he looked on while things were degenerating. So, and Obasanjo became the president. We now say that, okay, he came up and he said that he was going to eradicate corruption. He set up ICPC. We thought we are going to, that the fight has just begun then, and that we are likely to win the battle. For the first 3 years of ICPC, we didn't get nobody prosecuted until 2003, when the need, after this advanced free fraud, Yahoo and the rest of them, all the waves, when people, foreigners were being scammed, scammed everywhere, then there was a need to look into international dimension of all of these corruption crimes. They set up EFCC. EFCC had a singular luck of being headed by a zealous young man, that was Malam Nuhu Ribadu, who was a police officer, and he set it up to suit the purpose that Nigerians were yearning for, and also he took all of the complaints of Nigerians into consideration and started working. Now, it got to a stage when the regimes were no longer comfortable with him, and you know, he was forced to make the statement that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And corruption indeed fought him so seriously and brought him to his knees. And that is why he was sent to Kuru, against his own wish. He didn't apply to go to Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, but he was forced to go there.
So how did your agency come up? Your organization?
Yes, before 2007, in the days of Obasanjo, everybody was saying that he is the first civilian government after so long. Let us give him opportunity to carry out his program and agenda. Let us not disturb him and all that. But we kept on writing to them that, look, this economy is not growing. Industries are dying and all that. So when he left, I don't know if you remember that a group of people carry a coffin where we said that the end of regime of death, and so on and so forth. We were arrested, we were taken to Panti and all that. No charge could be preferred against us. So that ended it. Now, on May 27, 2007, we had done an assessment of the outgoing regime, the then outgoing regime, because the day will be due by May 29. So we had a conference, and we discovered that every degenerating sector of Nigeria is caused by corruption, that monster. So at that conference, it was there and then agreed that a central body, coalition of organizations should be put together to confront corruption head-on. First, to detect where corruption are happening, to report to the anti-corruption agencies, to pressure anti-corruption agencies to do the needful, and to mobilize the society against corrupt people. That is what translated to Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, CACO. Okay, corruption has been embedded in our society, both the public and the private sector in Nigeria, and this is a big monster that has been difficult to fight. Okay, the president just actually set up an advisory committee on corruption, but now observers are saying that will not solve the problem. They are saying, since we have institutionalized agencies who are supposed to be fighting corruption, what with the committee, are they going to supersede what the agencies are doing, or there's going to be conflicting interest within both of the committee, the AFCC and the ICPC? What's your take on that, sir? First and foremost, we should know that a couple of things are wrong with the way the anti-corruption agencies are operated up to the present moment. Many of those concerned have accused the anti-corruption agencies of being selective, of being corrupt themselves, and so on and so forth, that their strategies have not been working, their tactics have not been working, and so on and so forth. Then you now need to impute some intellectual materials into the way they work. I mean, call it academic if you like. There must be a theoretical framework that guides their operations, apart from the law that sets them up. There must be the intellectual input is what I believe that the Presidential Advisory Committee, because a committee of intellectuals, legal luminaries and informed people should appraise what has been going on from time to time and come to some logical conclusion on why we are where we find ourselves. So basically, I agree that they need it, but they are not replacing the anti-corruption agencies. They are just there to advise the president on how to oversight the functions of the anti-corruption agencies, to make them more effective, to make them more efficient, and to make them more relevant to the need of Nigerian people.
Okay, you've been on the forefront of anti-corruption against corrupt leaders. To get we have an FOI bill.
That's right.
In Nigeria, but in most cases it doesn't work. Because you want to access information, you meet a brick wall. We now have a president who is very keen on fighting corruption. But when you fight corruption, corruption fights you back in Nigeria. Right. With the developments now, he's been to the United States of America. He's been able to get some facts about how much money was stolen. If you look at our ratings in the Transparency International, we rate 136.
That's right.
Now, which is not good for our country. The way it is going now, the opposition party are saying, look, your anti-corruption fight is vindictive and selective. And now we've seen a peace committee who has approached the president, look, face your governance, and of course, let's get the ground rolling instead of fighting previous regimes. The way everything is playing out now, how do you see it? Because already people are saying, Buhari, you also surrounded yourself with some corrupt people as well who funded your campaign. So how is everything going to play out now?
Buhari has told you that he belongs to everybody, he belongs to nobody. So he has given a signal that he doesn't have favorites and that he's not going to condone corruption by any name called. But you should know that there's no time that any culprit is caught and doesn't look for an excuse why he will claim that he's being witch hunted. But has anybody been able to prove that they were really being witch hunted? The way to prove it is to prove that you didn't commit the crime you were said to have committed. The way to prove it is that to name accomplices among those who are yet to be tried. That, why is it that we stole the same thing at the same time in the same place? Why are you prosecuting me and not my accomplice? The way to prove it is to show the world that, look, you didn't commit this crime, that this is the means by which you get what can be attributed to you, the property, what you have accumulated. So if they have not done that, let them shut up. There's nobody that can take up all the cases at the same time. As a matter of fact, even if Buhari wanted to take all the cases at the same time, investigations will be concluded one after the other. So certain cases will get to court before the other ones. Why are they in a hurry? Okay, so they will still get to those ones, but they should help the agencies with evidences, because there hasn't been anyone amongst all of these people that have not been investigated. Is it Tinubu you want to talk about? Is it Amechi? Is it Babatunde Raji Fashola? Is it who? All of them have been investigated. Some of them are still in the, at the level of district report. They are still going to double check on the evidence that they have. Then they need witnesses. These witnesses also have to be available before you charge a case into court. Besides that, the anti-corruption agencies are overwhelmed by the myriads of complaints that go to them on a daily basis. You need to get to their offices and see their plight. They are yet to be empowered technically, financially, with training, with equipment, with protection on their own lives and property. That is the only way by which they can do due diligence. Up to now, I'm not sure that the EFCC had more than 3,000 operatives in the whole of Nigeria that has in excess of 170 million people. ICPC even have less. I should tell you that ICPC has been disempowered since a very long time. They don't have funds to carry out what the acts that set them up wanted them to do. For example, corruption would have been nipped in the bud if ICPC had been empowered. First, they are supposed to set up a desk in every ministry, department, and agency, MDAs, from the federal to the local government level. This desk is supposed to be called Act 2. That is Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit. they are supposed to vet all the contracts and procurement that are being done at the level of MDAs and tease out whatever is not clear or that has, a wind of corruption in it. But they are unable to do that. The same thing with Code of Conduct Bureau. The Code of Conduct Bureau is supposed to confirm, every pain that is declared by during the asset declaration period at the point of entry and the point of exit of public officials. But they don't have the capacity to do so. They were not trained in quantity surveying. So when you told them that, yes, this house was built for 10 billion naira, they agree with you. At least they saw a house. Even when you make anticipatory declaration, there's no way they could verify because they do not have the logistic support that they require. If they have the information, they don't have the money. For example, several of our people have property outside Nigeria. They have in Germany, they have in Australia, they have in far places. These people ought to travel there to ensure that the property are actually there. But they don't get it.
So what we're driving at is that they can't really fight it.
They can't fight it the way they are unless they are strengthened. And I've told you that the body language of the immediate past regime doesn't give them that vista. Now, it is the body language. They are yet to be strengthened. We are saying that they should be strengthened with all of what we have been mentioned before. Now, it is just the body language of the present regime that woke them up, that gave them the freedom to operate. Because hitherto, if they started investigating somebody that is close to the corridors to power, they will get phone calls that you should, abandon that work immediately.
Let's look at your role, your coalition against corrupt leaders. Recently, you alleged that, ex-governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola, is corrupt. Now you have evidences to prove.
That's right.
Do you really have evidences to prove that Raji Fashola was corrupt?
Well, from the beginning, we have evidences. Okay, you also know the evidences. At least look at the road that passes in front of you. He's supposed to have fixed it. Okay. Now, if a regime had a budget of over 4 trillion naira, and had access to international support from WHO, from UNESCO, from World Bank, because all the plants that are being planted everywhere, most of them are dying now because of lack of maintenance, were sponsored majorly by the World Bank. The water system was sponsored by where a loan was obtained. I think it's the grant or a loan to provide water. Do you have water running in your taps? Now, these are evidences. Now, if you look at the drainage system, Lagos State floods. If you go to the front of Obafemi Awolowo house in Ikeja when it rains, you won't be able to be a pedestrian there. Even when if your car is not properly sealed, the water is going to seep inside your car and you will be drenched, before you get it. All the Anifo everywhere flood that way. Go to Ikoyi, go to Victoria Island, around 1004 buildings when it rains. Go to all of these places, they do flood. Not to talk of rural area like Ajangbadi, like Aboru, like several places like that. Makoko and the rest of them were destroyed. Not because they want to savage the livelihood of those people, is because they want to take over their own land. Okay, the same way with Ijora Badia that was done. These are evidences. What did they do with it? Why are they building houses that cost more than 6 million naira and they say it is low-cost housing? Why did they destroy marketplaces and build it up and jack up the cost of hiring such stores astronomically beyond the reach of the market women and men that require it? So there are so many things that go wrong. Look at the educational system. Even as we talk, there are some schools where pupils still sit on bare floor. We got the Punch to do some work on these public schools. Go to Kankan, that is a model college. Go to Meron, it's a model college. These model colleges are models of rot rather than model of sanity.
So if I have to cut in, why have you waited for so long?
We didn't wait any, we didn't give him an inch. Okay, we were just we couldn't just jump into that fray as soon as it was coming. Just like I said, we gave Obasanjo so much time to adjust. He didn't adjust. During the days of Tinubu, when he was building the Millennium Schools, we don't have CACOD then, but there's a platform, Children Project, that is Child Help in Legal Defense of Rights to Education in Nigeria. That is the hub organization of CACOD. Okay, we want Tinubu that Millennium schools will not work because we don't need palatial buildings. We need buildings that will accommodate and make environment conducive for these children to learn. The millennium schools now are dilapidated. They don't have library, they don't have water running, they don't have even toilets, that they can use upstairs. Even downstairs, in some cases, they do their thing outside the classroom. So basically, we didn't wait. We started when Babatunde Raji Fashola came in 2007. We gave him the first year. The second year, 2008, third year, we saw that he was fixing Oshodi. Now we told him that, look, gentlemen, this job of fixing Oshodi is not your job. It's local government job. It's about rearranging the market and the motor parks there. Okay, tarring of the main road that passed through that place is the federal government's job. The bridge, yes, you can fix the bridge. But that is the only glory he wanted. Just to ram himself into the mind of ordinary Lagosian. Now, after that, we were waiting that he's going to take up some other, pro-people assignments. He never did. He now started elitist governance. He wanted to drive the common man out of Lagos. He seized their property by destroying markets. He arrested them with Kai, put them under blazing sun inside what used to be called Black Maria. I think they painted it green so that it would look like Green Maria now. Now, pregnant women, even those with little children, are kept under that blazing sun. They don't try them until later in the day when they will not have access to their own relatives who can salvage them from that enslavement. And they set up a kangaroo court, try them late in the evening, drive them to Badagry and keep them there until they are able to extort money from them. There are so many social services that are supposed to be rendered. Last Mile is not supposed to be revenue generating. Originally, they are not supposed to be revenue generating, authority. They are supposed to help people not to violate traffic laws. They are supposed to decongest areas where you have traffic snares. But what did they do? They lure you into committing traffic offenses. Remember, there are some parts in Lagos State where traffic rules are not the same thing. If you go to Oshodi, Apapa, around Isodo, you can drive, this other way. You may not know. If you are going to Unilag side, from Jibowu, you can drive the same side, bus to and fro. There are so many areas that are. So when you now assume that, okay, this, especially for that Oshodi Apapa Expressway, you won't know where the double lane ended at the service lane. So they lure people, instead of stopping people that, look, that is the way to go, they now lure you into places that are wrong, that has not designated. So all of these things were happening. We wrote. We told them that, look, Lagos is not to be an elitist environment. There's no city in the world that don't have its own problem of population. Then they said they are building a megacity. Megacity, the concept of megacity is not about how aesthetic you make, the environment and all that. It is how you can, because once a city has a population in excess of 10 million human beings, it's already a megacity. Now, the role of government is to expand facilities to accommodate the mega population and to make sure that slums are reduced. You cannot remove slums. If you go to London, you'll find places where you will think that it's another Oshodi or Agege. okay, where people do buy and sell, even on this road and all that. So you have to determine this is day market, this is night market, how do they operate, you guide their operations. So they didn't do all of this. Then I told you that education was in shambles. Up to recent times, I mean, maybe last year or 2 years ago, the whole of Lagos State, they have only one CT scan. They have, no, 2 CT scan, 2 dialysis machine. They have less than 1,005 doctors.
Are you sure of all this?
Yes, we are sure. They have
okay,
we put it again, we splash it on their faces. They have not been able to deny.
People have come out to say that Fashola is one of the best governors Nigeria ever produced in this last dispensation. I mean, if you see the beautification of Lagos and other things that he has done, people have appraised him to the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari is already looking at giving him a ministerial post. And of course, he's saying that you are trying to mudslide his name or his reputation for nothing.
Fashola is a product of the media. His reputation is your product. You people made him that. I have told you, have you challenged him on the state of the road in your frontage here? Have you challenged him why should we have flood in Lagos? Have you challenged him why water is not running on your taps? Have you challenged him why students in public schools are still sitting on bare floors, on broken furniture and all that? Why there are no toilets? I will show you pictures in my books. Okay, we took pictures, we sample opinions, we analyze media platforms that have assessed some of these things. Pictures don't lie. Okay, so these are the things that you put together. Now, I told you about the aesthetics. Is that what people will eat? No. Now, plants are, boreholes were dug for plants. But where people are living, they don't have water. Then street lights were powered by generators. The places where people are living are in perpetual darkness. Didn't you see all this? Okay, so if you did, why are you not telling me that?
I'm just asking, just for.
Okay, so this is the thing. You guys in the media have to go and dig deeper. You are the first and foremost anti-corruption agencies. That is why they call you members of the first realm of the, first estate of the realm. That means that you are the one who should serve as our eyes, our ears, and our power. You are the only ones that can strengthen the people.
Okay.
But because the media miseducate the people about the functioning of a governor and about the activities of this immediate past governor of Lagos State.
But it is not like
that is why
we're a foreign-based media, and we always make sure that we take all the angles and all the sides.
Collective responsibility. That's what we have.
But what he has come out to say that the 78 million for the website is meant to do a lot of applications on the website. That is why the money was on the high side, and of course, he has come out to say that if anybody is in doubt, they should go and check his books at the state government.
Did you choose to believe him?
No.
Why is it that when he didn't explain that until the scandal broke out?
He did not.
Did you know that he pretended to be rendering accounts every 100 days? He didn't tell us that he has this private website he forced Lagos State government to finance. And the firm that put the website together said he collected only 10 million naira. And you are now rationalizing that, yes, there are other costs. Why didn't you ask the same firm to come out and do the analysis? Now, even if it were to be true, did you know that the website was existing before the scandal broke out last week? No. Even the middle class element don't know that the website was existing. And he claimed that he was using it for the work of the state. Why didn't he name it? Website of the governor of Lagos State. Why should he bear the name of Babatunde Raji Fashola?
Okay.
This is what Obasanjo did with the library. The library in Abeokuta is supposed to be Nigerian library, but he converted it to Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. How sane is that in this environment?
Okay.
I don't like that.
Now that you've taken that to the FCC now, do you think you're going to get justice from it?
We have not gotten justice. We took it not just now. We took it as far back as February 2010. Remember, there was a period when the true face of Lagos came up with damning, accusations. on pages of newspaper. They actually took advertorials. When the advertorial came out, we were the ones that was attacked. They thought that we were the true face of Lagos. Of course, until we were attacked, I didn't even know that there was a publication like that. The reason why they took us on is that we had already taken Lagos on the need to be accountable, even if their program and agenda are acceptable to Lagosians. We went to commission one of these roundabouts, Ayodele Awolobi roundabout in Yaba, and I was permitted to speak. And I asked there and then that, look, we love what you have done for our hero, Professor Ayodele Awolobi deserve what you have given him. But at what cost? Why don't you tell us how much you did it so that we can cross-check? They didn't like that. They stopped us from talking. Now, when the true face of Lagos came up, they thought we did it. Now, we now wrote, yes, you said that this is a faceless organization. Why don't you examine the facts they have laid on the table? Do you have a defense for it? If they are lying, what is the true position of situations? They didn't answer. So we now went to town. We visited most of the places that was mentioned by True Face of Lagos. We discovered that they could be factual. Then we wrote again. They didn't answer. We just thought that things could have, something could have gone wrong somewhere. We went to town, we asked for 5 people from each of the then 20 local government. We did a conference in Yaba, National Institute of Medical Research. That's where we did it in 2010. Everybody had a tale of woe to say, because what we asked them, what is the presence of government in your local government like? They couldn't give much credit, despite what you have in the media, Fashola trial. We administered questionnaire there and then. It was tale of woe. We took the questionnaire to town, 2,000 per local government. The same thing happened. We reviewed media, presentations. We reviewed newspapers, we reviewed radio, we reviewed television. We have similar negative results. We went to the internet. We called out people's complaints on the internet. We went to locations, we took photographs. All of them are compiled in what we call Lagos Open Parliament. I will offer you a
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the state of Osun now. We've had allegations that workers have been owed 8-9 months' salary. They've not been able to pay them. And of course, a certain justice in Osun State came out with an allegation that the governor should be probed or impeached by the State House of Assembly. What do you make of that?
First and foremost, I should let you know that the judge that wrote the petition was just being mischievous. She knows that it's not one of her duty to write that petition because she's supposed to adjudicate in cases that are brought before her, and she should wait for that. Supposing the case came up and she was assigned with the case, of course the judgment is already known. She's not supposed. Judges are supposed to be seen, not to be heard. In the way she has presented herself. But first and foremost, I should tell you that Osun workers allowed themselves to be owed. It's like they lent the state the salary they ought to have collected during that period. Okay, you remember that the governor used to pay them the 13th month, and when there was this minimum wage thing, it's supposed to be from grade level 1 to 7. But the governor ballooned it to the grade 17 or thereabouts. So that now expanded the wage bill to more than double of what they used to pay. He was banking on the revenue from the federal government. Then the prices of oil in the global market crashed, and the income is not coming. Less than what they are getting now is less than 25% of what they used to get. So that became problematic. Now, people say that, why didn't you look inwards? What inward will you really look into? This is somebody who employed 20,000 youths at least twice and was paying them, gave them something to do. This is somebody who paid them, who paid Osun workers on latest by 28th of every month. And at the end of the year, I still pay them extra month. That is the 13th month, they say. Now, when the issues came, Osun workers actually show enormous understanding of his plight, and they keep on moving on. And on the capital side of his performance, there is something you call Onababo. These are abandoned roads that he opened up into becoming 6-lane roads, and he tarred all the interior roads within a very short period.
But these are capital projects.
They are capital projects. Yes. So I told you that the Osun workers show enormous understanding until they were prompted by Osun detractors. You should know that Aregbesola is a signature of the world over how you can do, a kind of pragmatic governance. He didn't go into frivolities. He actually did what you call empowerment of the citizenry. Okay, he gave them training with which they can earn a living on their own. Osun is an agrarian society. There are no industry, there's nothing. He wanted to open it up for industrialists to come. He's building a airport, an international airport, where people can fly in directly without being afraid of dilapidated roads and the rest of them. Now, he's building infrastructures, dams and the rest of them that could service the state. So basically, what went wrong is that oversight. Not thinking that there will be a crash in the global oil, prices. Then when you say that Osun is sitting on gold, but they cannot exploit it by themselves. There are several other mineral resources that could be exploited. If the federal government, in its own wisdom, decided that it's not going to exploit it for now, what can Osun State do? They will not be entitled to the what do they call it now? Derivative.
Yeah, but political observers are saying that instead of embarking on the massive white elephant projects like the capital projects, there should people being a civil servant say what they need is stomach infrastructure.
They didn't say that at the beginning. That's why I'm saying it was an afterthought that the Osun workers now decided to go the way they are going. And as a matter of fact, it is not as overbloated the problem. It's not as overbloated as it's being counted. It is something that the workers are still showing. Why would they vote in somebody who is owing them if they didn't tolerate him? They agree that, look, this is the situation, they are ready to bear it with him. But after the election, things started changing because those who felt very bitter about their losing the election now went to instigate all of these, what you call crisis. But when you need to visit Osun State, you see that the crisis is not as large as it's being portrayed. Mm-hmm. So basically, Aregbesola, who is the governor of Osun State, is my personal friend. I say that anywhere. We have the same background. We trained under Dr. Olauni of blessed memory.
So you guys are
these people, we're socialists to a very large extent, but socialist orientation only said equitable distribution of work and wealth. So if you put in, you must draw out. And that is what they are saying, that look, Osun will bounce back and will be the kind of state that Aregbesola and a number of progressive-minded people, dreamt of it to become.
Okay, fantastic. Let's look at the reforms in the NNPC now.
Right.
We had a new GMD who is ready to work and, of course, reform the oil sector. Do you think the Buhari government is getting it right in terms of the oil sector?
I believe that everything he's doing up to now, except not declaring his asset openly, is right. Now, NNPC has been the cesspit of official corruption in Nigeria. NNPC, if he was not killed or maybe given a rebirth, is going to kill Nigeria. Remember, they have made more than 8.1 trillion naira. 3.8 trillion naira couldn't be accounted for as we speak. Several things that happened. Lamido Sanusi, when he was the governor of Central Bank, raised an alarm. They said he was lying. PwC said that it was only 20 billion that could not be accounted for, and so on and so forth. The Minister of Petroleum Resources is also the chief executive of NNPC, and she has her hands everywhere. She maintained a private, estate that runs into trillions of naira. Several billions of dollars sunk into her account. Now, it is because of the shenanigans that is created in the NNPC. So, it chose, if you look at destabilize the NNPC so that she will have her hands on the pies. 5 GMDs, 5 years. That is not good for the growth of an organization like that. So the present system, he promised change. He had to change everything that caused the rot up to where we find ourselves. And that is why we believe. The gentleman has started performing. Some money have started coming in on their own. And a number of people that were suspected to have been perpetrating all this fraud on behalf of the authorities have been sent packing. Now, things are being rejuvenated. So we believe that the new GND can perform wonders if along the line is not, co-opted.
Okay.
Co-opted in the court of
fantastic, sir. It's nice having you on set this morning. There are a lot of Nigerians watching you in the diaspora now on our global platform. We want you because you are the voice against corrupt leaders, and you've been doing wonderfully well at that.
Thank you.
They want you to tell them, is there any hope for Nigeria in this case of anti-corruption?
Definitely, there's hope for Nigeria.
I'm watching it right now.
What we require is political will and public will. And the system, the present government had to strengthen the public by ensuring that the reports they make to the agencies, anti-corruption, law enforcement agencies, are actually given the priority of place that they deserve. If government did that, it would have strengthened the populace, and the public will support the government. And the government should develop that political will. They should step on sore toes if there is any need to do it. They should do their work. They should fight corruption without considering how close or how distant somebody is. Anywhere the money is residing should be fished out. The present system should be revolutionary. They have started well. I believe they will continue that way. And if they are revolutionary, they will develop a national ideology that will determine the upper seal of material accumulation for individuals. So if they are if they know that people are watching them, and if they stole, they will not have environment where they can display it or enjoy the proceeds of their loot, they will think twice before they go into that enterprise. And the people should be empowered that they should not accept all these corrupt elements back into their communities, because all of them are product of one constituency or the other. These constituencies should be strengthened to fight any indicted corrupt element, and should ostracize them, because they are like lepers. They will stain everybody around them if they allow them back into there. So there is hope with people like the President Muhammadu Buhari, supported by eminent people like Isesage. Isesage is also somebody, is somebody with high level of integrity. And of course, we also had Jega, who did the election. So there are several people, clear people, clear-headed people who can run this government without allowing corruption to hold them to ransom. Okay. And we will be there. We can. Mr.
Adibadiro, it's nice having you today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for coming to our studios.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Viewers, it's been a very great discourse with a man who takes corruption as a big one. He's taking it head on, and he is in charge of the coalition against corrupt leaders. He's been doing well at that. Hope you enjoyed that interview. We'll see you on the other side. Don't go away.
It's my spot today. Me taking my shine away. Right now me standing tall. No falling hand, no dog. 'Cause we're here, and the seas breaking from the north. Oh, breaking from the north.
There has been a deterioration and it is bad leadership. I do hope that God in His mercy will deliver this country from this type of leadership.
Nigeria needs more than power and good rule. Nigerians need to live like human beings.
Nigeria will no longer be looked at as the giant with clay feet. No, we will be looked at as the true giant. We will move with that frame of a giant and of course do what is right and of course be where Nigeria should be and tell the international community that look, the giant has woken up.
These are the things that you put together. Now, I told you about the aesthetics. Is that what people will eat? Now, plants are, boreholes were dug for plants, but where people are living, they don't have water. Then, street lights were powered by generators. The places where people are living are in perpetual darkness. Didn't you see all this?
We will require to have a kind of synchronic approach to this fight against corruption. And the impunity that we are talking about, if Mr. President is going to get it and he's going to make a success about it, he must make sure that everybody, every functionary of government have the same mindset with him.